Welcome, future masters. Let's rock and roll. Oh man, check. Check here. Check king to g8. Could go rook to there. With a check, he goes to there. Take that, goes to there, rook to there. I don't know. Oh. Oh, I see. We could just take his knight. I mean, play pawn takes pawn and interfere with his knight, which is very good. Although we do have knight checks, king to there, g8, queen to d5 check. You don't have a good move there, buddy. Yeah, that's a toughie. That's squashing. Okay. We got... Oh, this is nasty. d5. Or e4, actually. Heck. You lose, buddy. 2,500, pretty good move. Well, it seems obvious. Oh, that's not obvious. That damn knight is there. Maybe it's good anyway. Check. Rook takes check. Rook takes knight check. He's cut off. If he goes to here, knight checks. That's checkmate. King to e8. Knight to f6 is actual checkmate because the bishop guards f8. And if he goes king to g8, that's checkmate too. You lose, buddy. Okay. Dude, what do we do here? Take his queen? Possibly so. Oh, yeah, this is just checkmating, is what it is. Check, he's going to go to g8 or e8, and I just checkmated with the knight. Checkmate again. Just like the one that he dodged, but then didn't dodge. Okay, so now what do we do, Bobby? Check. I don't know. Let's look where his knights. The knights guard all these squares. c6, e and d7, f6. They don't guard this one, but that's okay. So let's check him. Seems legit. Check. King takes knight on e5. Queen checks. Oh, dude, even better. We can't bishop checking this, it's illegal. So queen checks, goes to there. We could simply play queen g5 check. That's no good. Or is it? Oh. Crud. Well, queen g5 is good. King to e6 is a problem for us. Oh, I'm sorry. What was I thinking? Yeah, queen g4 check. King takes. We could play f4 check, but this starts getting really ugly. King takes e4, knight c3 check. He just doesn't have squares, bro. f4 check, knight e. King takes e4. Look, we're just cutting off these white squares. So we're going to guard this e5 square forever. King takes, knight retreats check. Blocked, knight, knight, pawn, pawn. You're checkmated, bro. This is goofy checkmates. I always suggest that you be extra careful. Which you saw me be extra careful. That's why I took 217 to confirm this, because knights are harder to visualize in the checkmating. I'm just letting you know. For me, maybe not for you. Hey, maybe you're Bobby Fischer Jr. Hell, I don't know. But for me, they're hard to calculate visually. I get them 3, 4, 5. It's just 5 on 5, but we have the advantage. Well, not really. Karudsky. This is not a problem. The problem, one of the things we have here is a5. This one pawn holds these two back. Our king is tied to the defense of this d pawn. We cannot afford the roller of him to play b4 followed by b5. We'll get annihilated. It's 4 versus 2 will crush us. So this one will definitely hold these two back, and then we're good in that regard. His king is stuck over here with our pawns. So we're going to try and like Zugzwang this guy. But I swear I don't know. There it is right there. Terrible. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We can't get in there 4 by 4, so I'm not even going to try. I'm going to cash. This one I will get. That was a mistake on his part. He should have just queened, but I guess he was losing anyway. 27.93, and you watched me ace this dude in 127. Now you have to ask yourself, how did you know to play that move? I'm a master and then some of king and pawn endgames, as I have said many times. The key is this. My father's rule. You've heard it before, and if you haven't, I'm going to give you my father's rule. Number 1 rule. What is he trying to do to me? Is the question my dad says. If you can ask yourself this question and figure out what he's doing, the world is right in front of you. Okay, so I was like, what is he trying to do? Well, look, if I'm white, where am I trying to win? You want to win where you have a majority in a pawn endgame, 4 versus 2, right? White has got 1 versus 3. That's not good. He's not going to win over here. He needs to win on 4 versus 2. So, like I said, we cannot afford him to roll b4, b5. That's just absolute winning for white. So, by deductive logic, it's a little bit of chess, but it's really more, once I didn't analyze the entire thing. Don't have to analyze it. It is a chess thing, but it's not, when I say that, when I say it wasn't chess brain, it wasn't my analysis brain that said a5. This is my positional brain. And your positional brain is separate. So things that, he has to win 4 versus 2. So we need to stop, if possible, 4 versus 2, which a5 does a terrific job because this one pawn restricts 2 pawns. So this is a positional lesson that I learned at some point way back, and I mean way back. So this is a positional chess brain. This is no calculative analysis. All I need to know is I'm in the square of this protected passer, so I cannot leave this 3x3 square at all. My king cannot leave. And since he cannot leave this square, any square where I stand is just as good as any other. So I don't have to move my king. So what this boils down to is you have three sections of this board for black. We have the king side pawns, which is the H, G, and F pawns. That's one group. That's one thing. I have the king is in the square of the protected passer. This is group 2. And like I said, my king in this 3x3 will always catch this pawn. I don't have to worry about it. So my brain says, I don't even think about this anymore. I know this is a guaranteed stop of this pawn. I don't have to calculate it. Just like you don't have to calculate 2 plus 2, you know the answer. 4 like this through repetition. So these three, this is 3 versus 1 over here. That's fine. That's one section. I have this one. This king's job is to defend from the queening of this D pawn. That's another one. Then it becomes essentially, now I said 4 versus 2, but it's really 3 versus 2. Because the king owns this guy. So the F through D, 8 through 6 squares. This square is section 2. Section 1 of these 3 pawns versus this white pawn. The H, G, and F files. That's section 1. Section 2 is this square. Section 3 are the C, B, and A files. So A5 is the move. This restricts him the most. This is the best I can do. I don't think that really, this is White's best thing. I think White has the trump card of D6 protected passer. Now, technically, you know, I could get to the point where I could get to play D7. And then I could shove a C6 in front of it, a B6 in front of his face and take this pawn. He would take me, I'd take him, and then I'd take this again. I'll take it. So, I mean, I guess he runs a real risk in that regard. So that's why he did what he did. So this was to restrict this. Well, heck, you know, I'll just take it. So he goes here. I have to take this pawn because I'm playing 2 versus 3. I killed one of them. I do this, he makes a passer, obviously. But I have to take this. If I don't take this pawn, I can queen. Well, actually, he'll queen first. B3, C takes B7, and he queens before I get there. So this is a no-brainer. We must take this pawn. I'm like, dude, whatever. You push, I push. You push, I push. You push, I queen. And then he could queen. But I'm going to be moving in with checks. I'm not 100% sure that this is, you know, devastating. I mean, it basically said that it was. Oh, I see. Check, check, check. You know, I'm going to get these checks. So check. I don't know. King G1, check. King to F2. I'd check him again. And I'm threatening to move in on F3. It's very difficult, but that's not what happened. I just played based on what was here. Now, section 2 is the square 3x3. He moved his pawn to queen. I must. My king is tied to the defense of this pawn, or the defense of the threat of the D pawn. So, king E7, obvious. So I want to reduce these to obvious moves as much as possible, not so I don't have to tax my brain and calculate these god-awful variations. So, you know, he can go here. I queen. He queens with check. What a jerk. And so I can go here. This is winning for black. It just might be a hard win, but it's winning. So, 27.93, and I cracked this king and pawn ending like it was nothing. because it becomes, you have to recognize what the elements of the position are. Like if we go back, I broke it down. This is what I recognized in my thinking, that it's really three sections. H through F is one. All this is just one. This king on this 3x3, this is the second section, and the third section is the A, B, and C files. So I played a game in the tournament. I mentioned it briefly, but before, I played a move like this where it was actually the winning move in a tournament game like 30 years ago. And it's just like, it's a stunning pawn ending move. They're like, what? This epitomizes the Nimzovich philosophy of restricting the enemy. So A5 is a very Nimzovich move. In his book My System, he talks about the restriction of the enemy and preventing him from doing what needs to be done. So that's where I got this. It's the greatest chess book ever written to this day, and that it was written, geez, I don't know, 100 years ago, ballpark. It was My System by Aaron Nimzovich. Best book ever. When one of the guys, a rich guy from that when I played in the club at Texas City, was a rich guy, super nice guy. You know, he got along with my dad. He gave me that book because I was an up and coming player. And he said, you take this book, I guarantee you 250 points. Yeah, it was a lot more than 250. So, pretty awesome. So hopefully you enjoyed this. You guys know what to do. I'll talk to you later.